In the vast expanse of the galaxy, amidst the swirling nebulas and the ancient constellations, humanity was but a speck of dust, unnoticed and insignificant. The year was 2432, and the human race had finally broken the chains of their solar system, venturing into the unknown with a mixture of fear and excitement. It was an era of exploration and discovery, a time when the endless possibilities of the universe lay open before them. However, it was also a time of vulnerability, for the galaxy was not as empty as they had once believed. The first signs of extraterrestrial life were subtle, almost imperceptible. Strange anomalies in deep space, unexplained disappearances of scouting drones, and bizarre encrypted signals that defied analysis. Humanity, in its naivety and eagerness to make contact, did not recognize these signs for the warnings they were. It was not until the Harrowers made their presence known that the human race understood the grave mistake they had made by venturing into the galaxy unprepared. The Harrowers, as they came to be known, were a race of beings unlike any humanity had imagined. They were not bound by the physical forms that humans and indeed most sentient species took for granted. Instead, they existed as entities of pure energy, capable of traversing the vast distances of space without the need for ships or technology as humans understood it. Their motives were inscrutable, their methods incomprehensible to the human mind. But one thing was clear. They saw humanity as an obstacle, a nuisance to be eradicated from the galaxy. The war, if it could even be called that, was one-sided from the beginning. The Harrowers struck without warning, their attacks devastating and impossible to predict. Human colonies were wiped out in the blink of an eye. Entire fleets vanished without a trace, and billions of lives were lost in what felt like an instant. The galaxy's newest inhabitants, so full of hope and ambition, were on the verge of annihilation. But humanity is nothing if not resilient. Faced with an enemy that defied all logic and understanding, they did not succumb to despair. Instead, they adapted. Realizing that conventional warfare was useless against the Harrowers, humanity turned to their greatest asset, their ingenuity. A small group of scientists, engineers, and military strategists, known collectively as the Initiative, began to work on a new kind of weapon. It was not a weapon of destruction, but one of deception. Knowing that the Harrowers perceived the universe through energies and vibrations that humans could barely comprehend, the Initiative developed a way to cloak their presence, to become invisible to the enemy that seemed to see everything. The technology was crude at first, and the risk was immense. Pilots who volunteered for the first missions using the cloaking devices were aware that they might never return, that their very essence might be erased from existence. But the courage of these few paved the way for the future. As the cloaked ships began to move unseen through the galaxy, carrying out guerrilla attacks and rescuing survivors from decimated colonies, a glimmer of hope emerged. Humanity, so small and fragile in the face of a galactic predator, proved that size does not determine strength. The war was far from over, but for the first time since the Harrowers appeared, there was a sense of possibility, a belief that perhaps, just perhaps, the human race could survive this after all. The battle for survival had begun, and though the odds were against them, humanity had taken their first step towards proving that in the galactic arena, size doesn't matter. In the wake of humanity's initial countermeasures against the Harrowers, a sense of cautious optimism began to spread among the scattered remnants of human civilization. The Initiative's cloaking technology, though rudimentary and fraught with danger, had provided a glimmer of hope, a proof of concept that humanity was not yet defeated. From this foundation, the human race embarked on a desperate, innovative crusade to turn the tide of the war. The second chapter of humanity's fight for survival took shape in the laboratories and think tanks of Mars, Earth's red neighbor, which had become a bustling hub of scientific research and military planning. Mars, with its deep underground facilities, offered a semblance of safety from the Harrowers' all-seeing gaze. It was here that Project Symphony was born. Project Symphony was the brainchild of Dr. Elena Vasquez, a brilliant physicist and strategist who had lost everything to the Harrowers. Her family, her home, her entire world had been consumed by the enemy's insatiable hunger for destruction. But instead of succumbing to grief, Dr. Vasquez channeled her pain into purpose, dedicating her life to understanding the Harrowers on a level no one else dared to imagine. Dr. Vasquez theorized that the Harrowers, beings of pure energy, communicated and perceived reality through a complex symphony of vibrations, frequencies that the human mind could not perceive, let alone understand. If humanity could learn to play in this symphony, to manipulate these vibrations, they could find new ways to hide, to deceive, and perhaps even to communicate with the Harrowers. Under Dr. Vasquez's leadership, Project Symphony developed a series of experimental devices designed to interact with the fabric of reality in ways humanity had never before attempted. These devices, known as harmonizers, were capable of emitting a wide range of frequencies, creating a sort of camouflage that extended beyond simple invisibility. They could alter the perceived location of a ship, mimic the energy signatures of other species, or even create false signals to lure the Harrowers into traps. The first field test of a harmonizer was a moment fraught with tension and hope. A small fleet of human ships, equipped with the experimental technology, set out to engage the Harrowers near the ruins of what was once Jupiter's moon Europa. The plan was audacious: to simulate a large human convoy in an attempt to draw out the Harrowers, then use the harmonizers to scatter and hide, attacking the Harrowers from multiple directions. The battle that ensued was unlike any other in the history of human warfare. The Harrowers, accustomed to their overwhelming dominance, were caught off guard by humanity's newfound ability to vanish and reappear in unpredictable patterns. For the first time, the hunters became the hunted, as human ships danced around them, striking with precision before fading into the cacophony of vibrations. Though the victory was far from decisive, the success of the harmonizers marked a turning point in the war. News of the battle spread like wildfire through the human colonies, igniting a flame of resistance that had been dimmed by years of defeat. People began to talk of the future, not as a distant dream, but as a possibility worth fighting for. Dr. Vasquez, once consumed by loss, found a new sense of purpose in the success of Project Symphony. She understood that the war was far from over, and that many more lives would be lost in the fight against the Harrowers. But she also knew that humanity had found its voice in the Galactic Symphony, a voice that sang of resilience, of ingenuity, and of an unyielding desire to survive. As the impact of Project Symphony reverberated across the stars, humanity's approach to the war against the Harrowers underwent a profound transformation. The initial success of the harmonizers was not just a military victory, it was a beacon of hope, a testament to human ingenuity in the face of seemingly insurmountable odds. This newfound hope sparked a wave of unity among the scattered human colonies, a unity that had been frayed by fear and desperation. In the wake of the harmonizers' success, a coalition of human colonies, known as the United Terran Alliance, UTA, was formed. The UTA represented a diverse array of cultures, ideologies, and histories, but all shared a common goal: the survival and triumph of humanity over the Harrowers. The formation of the UTA marked the first time since the onset of the war that humanity acted as a single, cohesive entity, pooling resources, knowledge, and strategies to combat their common foe. The UTA's first act was to establish the Interstellar Command, ISC, a unified military and scientific body tasked with coordinating humanity's defense and continuing the development of technologies like the harmonizers. The ISC became a melting pot of the best minds and bravest souls humanity had to offer, all working together towards a shared vision of the future. Among the ISC's priorities was the expansion of the harmonizer technology. Teams of scientists and engineers led by Dr. Vasquez began experimenting with new applications of the technology, pushing the boundaries of what was possible. One such innovation was the development of the resonance field, a defensive mechanism capable of enveloping entire colonies in a frequency-modulated shield, making them invisible to the Harrowers. Meanwhile, the ISC's military strategists were developing new tactics for using the harmonizers in combat. The element of surprise and unpredictability had proven to be one of humanity's most effective weapons against the Harrowers, and the ISC aimed to refine this advantage. Special units, known as Phantom Fleets, were formed, consisting of ships equipped with the latest harmonizer technology. These fleets were tasked with hit-and-run missions, striking at harrower forces before disappearing into the cosmic symphony of frequencies. As the UTA solidified its presence in the galaxy, the harrowers began to adapt to the new challenges posed by humanity. The once seemingly invincible foe started to show signs of vulnerability, as their attacks became more cautious and less frequent. It was clear that the introduction of the harmonizers had disrupted the balance of power, forcing the harrowers to reconsider their approach to the war. In this period of relative calm, the people of the UTA took the opportunity to rebuild and strengthen their communities. The threat of the harrowers was ever present, but for the first time, there was a sense that humanity could not only survive, but also thrive. Cultural exchanges between colonies flourished, and a new shared identity began to emerge, one that was defined not by where one came from, but by the shared experience of fighting for survival against a common enemy. The echoes of unity that resonated throughout human space were not just a response to the external threat of the harrowers. They were a reflection of humanity's inherent resilience and capacity for cooperation. In facing the abyss, humanity had found not only the strength to fight back, but also the will to come together and forge a new destiny among the stars. With the establishment of the United Terran Alliance and the successes of the Interstellar Command, humanity's position in the galaxy was stronger than ever. Yet, as the war progressed, it became clear that victory would require more than just technological innovation and military might. It would require understanding the harrowers on a level beyond the physical. It demanded a foray into the very essence of their being. Dr. Elena Vasquez, now the chief scientist of the ISC, became increasingly fascinated with the idea of communication with the harrowers. The harmonizers had proven that it was possible to interact with the harrowers' perception of reality. But Vasquez wondered if a bridge could be built, a way to reach out to the harrowers, not as enemies, but as entities seeking understanding. This controversial idea became the foundation of what was known internally as Project Oracle. Project Oracle was a highly secretive initiative, drawing on the most advanced harmonizer technology to attempt something unprecedented: direct communication with the harrowers. The project was met with skepticism and fear, both from within the UTA and the wider human population. The idea of communicating with the very beings that had brought humanity to the brink of extinction was unthinkable to many. Yet Vasquez believed that it was only through understanding the harrowers that a lasting peace could be achieved. The first Oracle device was a marvel of human ingenuity, a complex array of harmonizers and quantum processors designed to translate human thoughts and emotions into frequencies that the harrowers could. The development of Project Oracle pushed the boundaries of human understanding to their limits. Dr. Elena Vasquez, driven by an unwavering determination to seek peace with the harrowers, led a team of brilliant minds in the creation of the Oracle device. This groundbreaking technology aimed not only to communicate with the enigmatic beings, but also to establish a common ground where dialogue could flourish, bridging the vast chasm that separated humanity from its galactic adversaries. The first attempts at communication were met with mixed results. The Oracle device emitted intricate patterns of frequencies, attempting to mimic the harmonic language of the harrowers. Yet, despite the precision of the translations, the responses from the harrowers remained elusive, shrouded in a veil of incomprehensibility. It became apparent that the divide between human and harrower perception of reality was far greater than anyone had anticipated. Undeterred by setbacks, Vasquez and her team persisted, refining the Oracle device and delving deeper into the intricacies of harrower communication. Their efforts bore fruit when, after months of tireless experimentation, they received a faint, fragmented response from the harrowers, a whisper in the vast expanse of the cosmic symphony. The message was cryptic, its meaning obscured by layers of abstraction, yet it hinted at a shared understanding, a recognition of humanity's attempts to reach out across the void. Encouraged by this breakthrough, Vasquez intensified her efforts, pushing the Oracle device to its limits in pursuit of further communication. As the Oracle project progressed, however, it became increasingly clear that the technology was not without consequences. The frequencies emitted by the device began to have unforeseen effects on the fabric of reality itself, distorting space-time in unpredictable ways. Strange anomalies appeared across human space, bending the laws of physics and defying explanation. Entire colonies vanished without a trace, swallowed by rifts in the fabric of existence. The repercussions of Project Oracle rippled through the United Terran Alliance, sowing discord and fear among its members. Some called for the project to be abandoned, fearing that humanity was meddling with forces beyond its control. Others saw Project Oracle as humanity's last hope for peace, a chance to end the war without further bloodshed. Caught between the promise of communication with the Harrowers and the perilous consequences of their actions, humanity stood at a crossroads. The fate of the galaxy hung in the balance, teetering on the edge of a reality fractured by the pursuit of understanding. As tensions escalated and rifts widened, the true cost of humanity's quest for peace became painfully apparent. In the depths of space, amidst the swirling chaos of war and uncertainty, the echoes of Project Oracle reverberated, a testament to humanity's unyielding spirit and its relentless pursuit of truth, even in the face of annihilation. But whether these echoes would lead to salvation or destruction remained to be seen, as the veil of shadows that enveloped the galaxy grew ever darker. As the consequences of Project Oracle unfolded, the United Terran Alliance found itself teetering on the brink of collapse. The rifts in the fabric of reality caused by the Oracle device had plunged human space into chaos, with entire colonies disappearing without a trace and anomalous phenomena spreading like wildfire. Fear and uncertainty gripped the hearts of humanity, eroding the fragile unity that had been forged in the crucible of war. Amidst this turmoil, whispers of dissent began to surface within the ranks of the UTA. Some accused Dr. Elena Vasquez and her team of scientists of hubris, blaming them for the cataclysmic events that had befallen humanity. Others questioned the motives behind Project Oracle, fearing that it was a reckless gamble that endangered the very future of the human race. The ISC, once hailed as the saviors of humanity, found itself besieged by internal strife and external pressure. Factions within the organization clashed over the direction of the war effort, with some advocating for a renewed focus on military solutions, while others urged diplomacy and reconciliation with the Harrowers. Trust, once the cornerstone of the ISC's unity, was eroding with each passing day. In the midst of this turmoil, a shadowy figure emerged from the depths of human space, a figure known only as the Broker. Operating outside the jurisdiction of the UTA and the ISC, the Broker offered deals and alliances to those willing to pay the price. Rumors swirled about the Broker's true identity and intentions, with some whispering that they had connections to the Harrowers themselves. The Broker's influence grew rapidly, as desperate colonies and factions sought to secure their survival in the face of uncertainty. Trade routes were established, secrets exchanged, and alliances forged in the shadows of betrayal. The Broker's network extended its tendrils across human space, ensnaring those who were willing to compromise their principles for the promise of safety and power. As the UTA struggled to maintain control, a sense of disillusionment spread among its members. The ideals of unity and cooperation that had once inspired hope now seemed like distant memories, overshadowed by fear and mistrust. Humanity found itself adrift in a sea of uncertainty, grappling with forces beyond its comprehension. Amidst the chaos, Dr. Elena Vasquez remained steadfast in her conviction that communication with the Harrowers was humanity's best hope for peace. Despite the accusations and recriminations leveled against her, she continued to work tirelessly on Project Oracle, determined to find a way to bridge the gap between human and Harrower understanding. But as the shadows of betrayal deepened and the Broker's influence grew, Vasquez wondered if she was fighting a losing battle. The very technology she had helped create had unleashed chaos upon the galaxy, and now it seemed humanity's greatest threat came not from the Harrowers, but from within. As tensions reached a boiling point and the fate of humanity hung in the balance, Vasquez knew that the true test of humanity's resilience lay not in its ability to conquer its enemies, but in its capacity to confront the darkness within its own soul. And in the shadows of betrayal, she feared that humanity's greatest enemy may have been lurking all along. As the galaxy teetered on the brink of collapse, engulfed in the chaos wrought by Project Oracle and the machinations of the Broker, A glimmer of hope emerged from the depths of despair. Amidst the turmoil and uncertainty, a small band of heroes rose to challenge the darkness that threatened to consume humanity, their actions echoing across the stars like a beacon of redemption. At the heart of this group stood Dr. Elena Vasquez, a woman haunted by the unintended consequences of her creation. Despite the accusations and doubts that surrounded her, Vasquez refused to abandon her quest for understanding and peace. With unwavering determination, she continued to delve into the mysteries of the Harrowers, searching for a way to mend the fractures that had torn human space asunder. Joining Vasquez in her quest were a diverse cast of characters, each with their own reasons for standing against the tide of betrayal and despair. There was Captain Marcus Kane, a seasoned veteran of the war against the Harrowers, whose unwavering loyalty to humanity inspired those around him. And then there was Dr. Liara Chen, a brilliant scientist whose expertise in quantum mechanics proved invaluable in unraveling the secrets of Project Oracle. Together, this unlikely alliance embarked on a journey to confront the broker and uncover the truth behind their enigmatic schemes. Their path led them through the darkest corners of human space, where danger lurked at every turn, and betrayal lay in wait behind every shadow. But they pressed on, driven by a shared belief that redemption was still within reach, even in the face of overwhelming odds. Along the way, they encountered allies and adversaries alike, each with their own role to play in the unfolding drama of the galaxy. From rogue mercenaries to noble diplomats, from renegade scientists to mysterious beings from beyond the stars, their journey brought them face to face with the myriad facets of humanity's struggle for survival. As they drew closer to their goal, Vasquez and her companions found themselves tested in ways they had never imagined. They were forced to confront their deepest fears and darkest secrets, to make choices that would determine the fate of not only themselves, but all of humanity. And through it all, they clung to the belief that even in the darkest of times, the echoes of redemption could still be heard. In the end, it was not through weapons or technology that humanity found salvation, but through the power of unity and the courage to confront the shadows that lurked within. As the echoes of their journey faded into the void, a new dawn rose over the galaxy, one filled with promise and possibility. And though the scars of war would never fully heal, humanity emerged stronger, wiser, and more resilient than ever before. In the aftermath of their harrowing journey, Dr. Elena Vasquez and her companions emerged as symbols of hope and resilience in a galaxy scarred by war and betrayal. Their actions had not only thwarted the schemes of the broker, but had also reignited the flickering flame of unity among the scattered remnants of humanity. Yet as the dust settled and the echoes of their journey faded, the true challenge lay ahead, forging a lasting peace in the wake of centuries of conflict. The United Terran Alliance, battered but unbowed, turned its attention towards the daunting task of rebuilding and reconciliation. With the threat of the Harrowers still looming on the horizon, humanity could ill afford to remain divided. The lessons learned from their brush with annihilation served as a stark reminder of the importance of solidarity in the face of adversity. Under the leadership of Vasquez and other visionary leaders, the UTA embarked on a bold initiative to establish diplomatic channels with the Harrowers. It was a risky endeavor, fraught with uncertainty and peril, but it was also humanity's best chance for a future free from the specter of war. The echoes of Project Oracle, once a source of chaos and discord, now served as a bridge between worlds, a conduit for dialogue and understanding. The negotiations with the Harrowers were arduous and fraught with tension, as centuries of mistrust and animosity threatened to derail the fragile peace process. Yet through perseverance and determination, Vasquez and her diplomatic team made significant strides towards reconciliation, finding common ground where none seemed possible. As the talks progressed, Vasquez came to realize that the Harrowers were not the implacable foes humanity had once believed them to be. Beneath their enigmatic exterior lay a civilization scarred by its own struggles and conflicts, haunted by the weight of its past. In forging a path towards peace, Vasquez saw an opportunity not only to end the cycle of violence, but also to heal the wounds that had divided humanity and the Harrowers for so long. But peace, as Vasquez knew all too well, was a fragile thing, easily shattered by the slightest provocation. Even as negotiations continued, whispers of dissent and mistrust lingered within both human and Harrower society, threatening to undermine the delicate balance they had worked so hard to achieve. And lurking in the shadows, unseen and unknown, new threats began to emerge, forces that sought to exploit the fragile peace for their own nefarious ends. As Vasquez and her allies navigated the treacherous waters of diplomacy, they soon realized that the echoes of war had not yet faded entirely, and that the road to true peace would be long and fraught with peril. But for now, in this fleeting moment of respite, humanity dared to hope. For in the echoes of their journey, they had glimpsed the possibility of a future where peace, not war, would reign supreme. And though the challenges ahead were daunting, they faced them with the same courage and determination that had brought them to this moment, united in their quest for a better tomorrow. Despite the cautious optimism that accompanied the progress of peace negotiations between humanity and the Harrowers, whispers of discontent and treachery continued to fester in the shadows of the galaxy. Dr. Elena Vasquez, ever vigilant, sensed that the fragile peace they had worked so hard to achieve was under threat from unseen forces that sought to sow discord and reignite the flames of war. As Vasquez delved deeper into the web of intrigue that surrounded them, she uncovered evidence of a clandestine organization known only as the Shadows. Operating with ruthless efficiency and secrecy, the Shadows had infiltrated key positions within both human and Harrower society, manipulating events from behind the scenes in pursuit of their own inscrutable agenda. Driven by a desire to maintain their grip on power and influence, the Shadows sought to sabotage the peace process, instigating conflicts and sowing mistrust between humanity and the Harrowers. Their machinations threatened to unravel the fragile bonds of cooperation that had been forged through years of hardship and sacrifice. Realizing the gravity of the situation, Vasquez rallied her allies and marshaled her resources in a desperate bid to expose the Shadows and thwart their nefarious schemes. Together, they embarked on a dangerous game of cat and mouse, navigating a labyrinth of deception and betrayal as they sought to uncover the truth behind the Shadows' enigmatic motives. Their journey led them to the darkest corners of human space, where they encountered adversaries both human and alien, each more formidable than the last. From shadowy operatives to rogue elements within the ISC, Vasquez and her companions faced numerous obstacles in their quest for justice and redemption. But even as they struggled against the tide of darkness, Vasquez remained steadfast in her belief that humanity's capacity for resilience and unity would ultimately prevail. With each victory against the Shadows, they drew closer to uncovering the truth behind the conspiracy that threatened to plunge the galaxy back into chaos. As the Shadows resurged, casting doubt and fear upon the fragile peace that had been so hard won, Vasquez and her allies stood as beacons of hope in the darkness. For in their unwavering resolve and determination to confront the Shadows head-on, they embodied the spirit of humanity's indomitable will, a will that refused to yield to despair, even in the face of insurmountable odds. The shadows of betrayal and treachery cast a pall over the galaxy as Dr. Elena Vasquez and her allies closed in on the elusive cabal known as the Shadows. With each step closer to unraveling the conspiracy, they found themselves confronting ever more formidable adversaries and navigating increasingly perilous situations. As Vasquez delved deeper into the heart of the Shadows' operations, she uncovered a web of deceit that stretched across human and Harrower society, ensnaring the unwitting in its tangled embrace. It became clear that the Shadows' ultimate goal was not merely to sabotage the peace process, but to plunge the galaxy into chaos and destruction, with humanity and the Harrowers as pawns in their deadly game. Armed with this knowledge, Vasquez and her allies embarked on a daring mission to expose the Shadows and bring their machinations to light. With each piece of evidence they uncovered, and each ally they rallied to their cause, they chipped away at the veil of secrecy that shrouded their adversaries. But the Shadows were not content to sit idly by as their plans unraveled. With their grip on power slipping, they unleashed a wave of violence and chaos across the galaxy, hoping to distract their enemies and cover their tracks. It was a desperate gambit, born of desperation and fear, but one that threatened to undo all that Vasquez and her allies had fought so hard to achieve. In the face of overwhelming odds, Vasquez and her companions refused to back down. With courage and determination, they confronted the shadows head-on, battling against impossible odds in a desperate bid to save humanity and the harrowers from destruction. As the final showdown loomed on the horizon, Vasquez knew that the fate of the galaxy hung in the balance. The echoes of war and betrayal reverberated through the void, a grim reminder of the stakes they faced. But even in the darkest of moments, Vasquez held on to hope, knowing that the indomitable spirit of humanity would prevail against the shadows that threatened to consume them. And so, with the weight of history bearing down upon them, Vasquez and her allies prepared for the ultimate reckoning, a reckoning that would determine the fate of the galaxy and the legacy of those who dared to stand against the darkness. For in the crucible of conflict, they would discover the true measure of their strength and the depth of their resilience. And in the end, they would emerge victorious, not just over their enemies, but over the shadows that had long haunted their souls.